Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 166 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng, who was dressed in the bronze armor, sat on the stone chair and pondered. Chinyo has blood river crystals. Even though I can get as many as I want, normal warriors can only absorb so many. Hence, the number of crystals he has definitely has a limit, and I am afraid I can at most get 1 or 2 more from him. Luo Feng shook his head. That's definitely not enough. Then, he squinted, there's only one way. A blur rushed into the cloud levels, rushing straight into the 18th level. It was Moshe Luo Feng, and beside him a silver-white pyramid appeared. He followed the cabin door into the ship. Control room. Luo Feng, what are you doing? Barbata's voice resounded in the control room. Why are you using the Moshe clansman? A black-armored Moshe Luo Feng sat in the wide comfortable sofa, revealing a smile. Barbata, don't worry. I'm using the Moshe for the crystals. He swiftly repeated the story of the golden horned beast and the crystals, also telling him the aim of all this. So absorbing 15 alone isn't enough. Absorbing 10 alone is that heavenly. So what would happen if you continued on? Barbata was extremely excited. Moshe Luo Feng nodded. Hence, I'll be placing you, the cloud contact vine and all important treasures on the Moshe body, including the life core, within this body. Right now the only thing left in that huge pit quarters is my earth human body. Even if it meets a tragedy and dies, it's nothing. As long as the core was undamaged, even after the 3 bodies are destroyed, they could be regenerated. What you are doing makes sense, leaving the core in the Moshe body. In terms of survival, the Moshe body with this automaton ship is indeed much safer. Barbata admitted, what are you preparing to do now? Hunt. Moshe Luo Feng revealed a smile. Blood River continent is endless, with many different worlds, every one of them controlled by sector lords. And the world cities here go up to the tens of millions. The number of sector lords too should be that many. As for the number of domain lords, it's 100 times that of the sector lords, even more shocking. Blood River continent favors the strong, and all these worlds within, all contest each other. Every day large amounts of humans die, every year many domain lords die. What I need to do is to secretly hunt a few domain lords. I won't kill too many either. Since there are tens of millions of worlds in this continent, with thousands of places controlled in each world, I just have to kill 1 domain lord each. Hunting close to 10,000 domain lords all over the entire continent wouldn't even be anything. Moshe Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with excitement. From 1 domain lord, I can on average get 1 crystal. This way, I can get close to 10,000 Blood River crystals. I believe that this is possible. This close to 10,000 crystals will be enough. Moshe Luo Feng said softly. Ha ha, vicious. Close to 10,000. Ha ha, then do it. This is too thrilling. Hurry and leave, use your universe's strongest assassination clan power. Barbata too had been infected by the excitement from Luo Feng's explanation. Hunt. With the entire Blood River continent's countless worlds as his target. Secretly hunting, undetectable. Let's go. Moshe Luo Feng ordered. The automaton ship resembled a meteorite, and swiftly flew in the space outside the world. Blood River continent, Chenyu City. This was an ancient city more than 1 billion kilometers away from the edges of the ancient god ruins. Chenyu City leader's mansion, walkway outside the entrance. You dare to challenge me within my own territory. You are looking for death. Even if you regret it now, it's too late. The green-skinned man with cold eyes, dressed in armor, sat high on a 10 m tall grasshopper beast. He gazed down and ordered, give the order, bring that Morji family leader here. City leader, that little Morji punk is very arrogant. He keeps butting heads with you, my lord, he should die. However, the Morji family is huge. Hence, it's hard not to have a proud disciple, there's no need, beside, a cloud-level general in armor said respectfully. A blur crashed straight into that general, knocking him backwards into a large hotel construct behind, making the entire building explode and crumble with rubble flying far into the distance and hitting heads of passerbys. Some were simply killed on the spot. Immediately there was chaos in the streets. Sue. From the crumbled building a silhouette flew out. It was the pale general who was spitting out blood. He knelt down respectfully. City leader, I'm wrong, I know my mistake. Remember. Tianyu territory is my territory. The cold gaze of the man swept below. Whoever I say should die, should die. If you dare question me again, it won't simply be this whip. Understood, understood. The general was extremely terrified. Go, and destroy the entire Morji family. If he has to blame someone, then he can blame that punk. My mood was good today, but it was completely destroyed by that little punk. He should take a look at himself first. Something so insignificant, yet he dares to provoke me. I'll destroy their entire family. It is as simple as killing a little bug. The man sat on his grasshopper, ordering the group below him before entering his city leader's mansion. And that general had just stood up. General. The rest looked at him. What are you staring at? Hurry and gather the army. We'll go raze the Morji family to the ground. The general shouted. Yes. The Morji family in this Tianyu city ranks, at least in the top 10 families. Just because of that one little punk offending the city leader, they are finished. What a pity. How did that Mo Chong youth offend the city leader? I don't know. I heard the city leader dressed up as a normal person, and brought 2 guards along the West Jia Tower. I don't know what went on with him and Master Mo Chong, they just clashed. And the young master has always been arrogant. Today, it was his bad luck that he met the city leader. With his order, the entire Morji family is over. Pity, pity. Pity my ass, the city leader isn't a good person. That Mo Chong is also a bastard. It's better that more of them die. A large group of people gathered in the distance were discussing. Amongst them, Luo Feng, who was dressed in a casual black long robe, stood and listened. While revealing a smile, he muttered, I didn't expect to see such a good show here in Tianyu City. City leader. That brutality, I hope I get more crystals from you. The black-clothed Luo Feng disappeared without a trace amongst the crowd, invading the city leader's mansion. Within the city leader's mansion, this was a 7-story luxurious palace. A cold-looking man was lying in a 10 long huge bed. 2 beautiful scaled women with scales on their foreheads were massaging him. Lighter, lighter. Right, like that. The man had his eyes closed, ordering them. City leader, my sister and I spotted a piece of clothing at the colored clothes pavilion. Buy whatever you see, just buy them. Just settle whatever the amount is with the management in the mansion. The cold-eyed man said casually. Thank you, city leader. The 2 young ladies said excitedly. The man's lips, however, curled into a smile. Holding such power, such control over people's lives, the feeling of making countless people beg before him, it was simply too wonderful a feeling. My senior sure was stupid, training so hard just to become a world city leader. Is there even a need? I'm living it up, ha ha, city world leader. Is it so easy to reach there? Life should be this way. 3 blood-colored flashes, the cold-eyed man stared in shock. Beside his luxurious huge bed stood a black-clothed man. In his hands he wielded a blade and stared coldly at him. I'm dead. How can this? The man felt his life core shatter within. Even though he was shocked, he was still staring. Simultaneously his consciousness dissipated. His life of extravagance had ended. How rotten. The black-clothed Luo Feng stood beside the bed. He was looking at the 3 bare naked bodies, his eyes cold, leading such a rotten life, and he managed to become a domain lord. That's simply pure luck. Or should I say, it's because of his background. The bigger the background, the more I like. The bigger they are, the more crystal they may potentially have. He swiftly acquired the space ring from that city leader. 2 crystals. Luo Feng smiled, not bad, it's a good start. After which, he waved his hand and the 3 bodies, including that huge bed, were all kept in his space ring. He was prepared to destroy all evidence. Black-clothed Luo Feng was like a mirage, immediately leaving the mansion, and rushing into the skies straight through to the 18th cloud level. After which, he sat in the automaton ship, flying in the space above Blood River continent. Kill 1 person and change the location immediately. He was absolutely cautious. With the competition and killing between each sides of the worlds, wars often erupted. And in these messy situations, a domain lord dying occasionally was a normal thing. And sometimes when the domain lords are killed, their underlings don't even know, thinking they might have gone somewhere to train. In space, in a side chamber of the palace, the one in charge of surveillance over the entire Blood River continent. What is His Majesty Luo Feng doing? Why is he always in that automaton ship, flying all over? Entering for a while and coming out again. How is that a while? It's normally a couple of days each. However, this frequency is too high. Just what is he doing? The group of sector lords in charge of surveillance were all curious, because they didn't understand just what Luo Feng was doing. As Moshe Luo Feng was hunting, within the huge pit quarters of the ancient god ruins. Luo Feng dressed in the bronze armor sat there, eyes closed. This speed is quite fast. On average I get 1 crystal every day. The hunting plan till now has already lasted for half a year. Including last night's haul, that should be 98 crystals. Luo Feng smiled and opened his eyes. Another 2 more, that makes it 100. Even though he was in the ancient god ruins, Luo Feng was very relaxed. As his core was within the Moshe body, along with the living AI Barbata and the other important things, his Earth-human body here had nothing to worry about. Even if I'm killed, I just have to waste some energy from the internal world to regenerate. Luo Feng closed his eyes. His consciousness was connected to the virtual universe via the quantum computer within his space ring. In a while, there will be a space origin law class. I can't miss that. In a quiet and vast city more than 1 trillion kilometers away. Within the city leader's 3-story mansion, a man lay in his armor in the training room, and the black-clothed Luo Feng stood beside him. With these 2 blood river crystals, it'll make my total haul since I left the ancient god ruins 100 already. Black-clothed Luo Feng immediately waved his hand and destroyed all the evidence. After which, he left without a trace and rushed into the sky, sitting in his automaton ship and flying in space above. Within the control room of the automaton ship, black-clothed Luo Feng sat in his sofa and laughed lightly. External simulation 100%. Immediately the scenery about changed. A wild and incredibly beautiful dream-like space image, below were the cloud levels of Blood River continent. Luo Feng, the previous 2 times you absorbed 30 crystals each. How many are you prepared for this time? The lights beside had formed an image of Barbata. The little demon smiled happily as he looked at Luo Feng. I have prepared 25 for absorption. The black-clothed Luo Feng said. In the ancient god ruins, the golden horned beast absorbed 15. Plus the 30 crystals it had absorbed twice before. Right now it has absorbed a total of 75 crystals. Plus the 25 today, it'll make a perfect 100. The little demon Barbata laughed weirdly. That intense pain, can you take it? Black-clothed Luo Feng frowned. Pain. Right. Back then during the 10th crystal, it was so painful, even the golden horned beast couldn't help but crash about. At that same time, the other 2 bodies too suffered intense pain, enough to make one's soul leap out. The 11th crystal, however, didn't hurt as much and was in fact much weaker than the 10th. However, as more crystals were absorbed, the pain continued to rise gradually, until when he hit the 72nd. The level of pain was comparable to the absorption of the 10th crystal back then. Luo Feng fought with all his might before, getting past until the 75th, however his entire being was in a complete daze. Today, will be number 76 to 100. I guess the pain will exceed the previous few times. The little demon warned, if you cannot take it, we can split them into a few days. No problem. Black-clothed Luo Feng's eyes were focused. This little pain, if I can't even take this, how can I even think of becoming undying? This isn't just a little pain. If your willpower wasn't strong, your soul would have long crumbled. Barbata warned. I've never heard of one's soul crumbling from absorbing Blood River crystals. Black-clothed Luo Feng said softly, if I can't take it, I will probably end up fainting. At that point, the absorption will stop, and there will no longer be any danger. And Barbata, I have a feeling that when I absorb the 100th crystal, a miracle will happen. Black-clothed Luo Feng's eyes had a hint of anticipation. Let's begin. Within the ship, only a core was left. At this point, black-clothed Luo Feng had entered his internal world. Internal world. The golden horned beast, which was like a black mountain range, slowly got up. Beside it, the black-clothed Luo Feng suddenly appeared. Who? A heavenly pillar like right claw was extended and placed before Luo Feng. Number 76. Black-clothed Luo Feng took out a triangular blood-red crystal and placed it on the scaled palm. It used its claw to slice through and the absorption began. Black-clothed Luo Feng gripped his fists and gritted his teeth. He stood there and trembled slightly. Howl! The golden horned beast rushed into the sky in pain. The two huge cloud-like scaled wings flapped madly, dancing about in the vast metal continent. It occasionally crashed into metal mountains, venting out as it suffered intense pain. After this went on for a while, it finally stopped. Still okay, it felt a bit better than absorbing 30 consecutively before. Looks like my willpower has been trained and developed more. Black-clothed Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief and released his grip. The golden horned beast landed and lifted its right claw, triggering the mysterious energy. Immediately the claw changed from a pure black to a pale gold color. The fully armored black golden horned beast was mostly black in color, even its four horns only looked gold because of the many golden engravings that lit up. In truth, it was a mix of black and gold. Only this right claw was completely pale gold, and it held within endless power. And on this right claw was an incomparably beautiful engraving. Its complexity, compared to the entire body's gold engravings, it didn't have too much of a difference. However, even normal people, they would still feel that the complexity and overall look of this blood-red engraving was somewhat lacking. It had yet to be completed. Looking at how complete this engraving is, I feel that only after absorbing the 100th will it be complete. Black-clothed Luo Feng stared at the blood-red engraving on the right claw. After absorbing 3 crystals, the blood-red engraving was simple, yet complete. After the 10th, it was a lot more complex, once again forming a complete picture. And right now, after 76 crystals. On to the 77th. Black-clothed Luo Feng placed another crystal into the right palm. 78, 79, 80. The further he got, the change in the right claw caused such pain that it made the golden horned beast feel like it was dying. However, in its bones was a powerful and solid rock-like willpower, allowing Luo Feng to bear with it over and over. Pain. Intense pain. 86, 87, 88. Ancient god ruins, training room of the huge pit quarters. Luo Feng's entire body was kneeling in the room. Dressed in his bronze armor, his 10 fingers were like hooks fiercely gripping the stone ground, gripping and reducing the stone to dust. He grit his teeth, crackles could be heard from his teeth, his face was flushed, veins popping out, perspiring profusely from all over, the whole ground was wet. Kukai, kukai, pa. 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 Spit. Luo Feng spit fiercely. 2 broken teeth flew out of his mouth. Damn. Pain. So much pain. Luo Feng's entire body was trembling. Sweat flowed out from the seams of the armor, and his skin felt like almost as though it had been steamed. That intense pain, that boiled down to even his soul, had affected his entire body. Luo Feng violently lay on the ground. His entire being almost paralyzed, breathing and gasping hard, breath after breath. My God, I finally made it. I feel like I've died over tens of thousands of times. With the virtual universe 100% simulation, the pain too can be simulated. However, the pain of death isn't even a fraction of this pain. Luo Feng was completely sprawled on the floor. His earth body alone was in such pain, and as the primary body of the right claw absorption, just how much pain did the golden horned beast have to endure? One had to know that this level of pain entered into its soul via the golden horned beast's body. The pain the golden horned beast felt was the most intense. This is only the 90th, how will I continue? Luo Feng couldn't imagine, the pain he endured before was already the most terrifying pain he had ever endured in his entire life. So much so that his consciousness was about to crumble, almost triggering his auto-defense mechanisms. Fainting was a form of natural self-preservation. However, Luo Feng was very clear about the fact that the moment he fainted, it would mean the failure of the absorption of the crystal. More than 1 trillion kilometers away in space, within the automaton control room, the crystal core was floating and revolving. Internal world. 91st. Black-clothed Luo Feng took a deep breath and placed another crystal in the palm of the golden horned beast's right claw. The huge beast, which was larger than even rivers, looked down at the crystal with its dark golden eyes. There was a sense of fear in them, it was simply too painful. After slashing a wound, fresh blood seeped out, and the absorption of the 91st crystal began. Kill. Kill, kill. The incomparably mad, killing aura completely swarmed over Luo Feng's willpower. Every crystal absorption's killing intent willpower was stronger than the previous, and at this 91st crystal, the killing aura seemed comparable even to the aura whirlpool, where it was 8 times the normal aura. Maybe even stronger than that. My heart is like a mirror, don't think of affecting me, get out. Luo Feng's willpower raged, madly defending time and again against the effects. He was finally able to get the killing aura willpower to back off. I've finally made it past the killing aura willpower. Actually at this point, it wasn't simply just the pain from evolving the right claw that was unbearable, even the killing aura willpower. That alone was very hard for Luo Feng to fight and defend against. However, defending against the killing aura willpower compared to the pain of evolution was different. Against the killing aura willpower, defending was simply defending. Hence, the failure was simply a failure. No pain, no consequence. However, that pain continued on, wave after wave, until the entire right claw had evolved. Only then would the terrifying pain cease. Damn, it's here again. Black-clothed Luo Feng's body was trembling. He was kneeling on the ground, with his hands on the metal ground, gritting his teeth hard. Howl. The golden horned beast madly howled to vent. The 91st was like wave after wave of killer nightmares, it finally got past it. 92nd. If one wished to succeed, he had to be hard on himself. Luo Feng continued to allow the golden horned beast to absorb the 92nd crystal. The killing aura willpower from this crystal was simply too much. Luo Feng fought hard to control his willpower, making it incomparably solid and sturdy. He was struggling against it even though it felt like it was about to crumble. Finally, the terrifying willpower backed off. However, what followed closely was the even more terrifying intense pain. Why do I feel? Black-clothed Luo Feng picked up the 93rd crystal and said softly that it would be extremely hard to reach the 100th crystal. Continue. When the 93rd crystal made contact with the wound in its right palm, an even more intense torrent of killing aura willpower rushed against Luo Feng's willpower. It was vast and endless, every wave was stronger than before. Luo Feng barely defended against it wave after wave. Rumble. Luo Feng felt his consciousness drift, after which, the three bodies all fainted. The killing aura willpower had broken past his defense, swiftly returning back into the crystal. Absorption of the 93rd Blood River crystal was a failure. While in a daze, the killing aura willpower finally backed out, and Luo Feng quickly regained his consciousness. I failed, I actually failed. Black-clothed Luo Feng frowned. I knew that getting to the 100th would be extremely difficult, but I didn't expect to fail at the 93rd. That killing aura willpower was simply too powerful, and the pain was so intense. All of this shows one thing: my willpower is still not strong enough. Luo Feng was extremely wrong. Willpower not strong enough. Even an absolute genius of 1 trillion years from the Undying Shrine, Blood God Baki, who could become undying in a short time if he wanted to, his willpower paled in comparison to Luo Feng's. Many sector Lord Pinnacles were far behind him as well. Hence, in terms of willpower, Luo Feng was indeed very strong. The true reason was just how many people had even absorbed up to 93 Blood River crystals. Absorbing 10 on Blood River continent alone would make one the legendary Black Warrior. Every extra absorption had 10 times more the requirements on the body in many different aspects. To absorb 93 crystals. That was simply unrealistic. 93 Blood River crystals would have an ever-increasing killing aura willpower. It was absurdly insane. The right claw cannot absorb anymore. But, what about the other parts of the golden horned beast? The golden horned beast grabbed the crystal, placing it in its left claw, slashing through the scales, fresh blood seeped out. Rumble. The formless energy rushed into its body, simultaneously gathering the rest of the killing aura willpower from before within and swiftly coursed through. The energy clashed immediately into Luo Feng's willpower within the golden horned beast. Rumble. How can this be? It actually melded with the willpower from before to be even stronger. Luo Feng was shocked. Kill. Kill. The mad killing aura willpower once again rushed in. Luo Feng fought hard against it, condensing his willpower like a stone, struggling to defend against it. However, even though it was rock solid, under the rush of the endless aura, it was still reduced to ashes. Once again, he lost consciousness. That formless energy returned into the crystal, and Luo Feng regained consciousness. Within the control room of the automaton ship, the crystal ball was revolving. On its surface gold engravings glimmered with gold light. Suddenly, in place of the crystal, black-clothed Luo Feng appeared. I actually failed. Black-clothed Luo Feng sat in the sofa and looked ahead into the vast space. How did it go, Luo Feng? Beside, the energy image of the demon, Barbata asked. Black-clothed Luo Feng explained what happened during the process. Ah, that's expected. There probably hasn't been anything in the history of Blood River continent about absorbing 93 crystals. Even the highest level 4 Chi Neo beast only managed a little over 10. Demon Barbata smiled. Luo Feng, don't worry too much. As your willpower gets stronger, you'll be able to absorb them in the future. I don't care about this. Luo Feng frowned. The only thing is the rest of the golden horned beast is unable to absorb the crystals. It's because you are unable to withstand the kill aura willpower. Demon Barbata too sat on the sofa beside him, crossing his legs and looking at the vast space ahead. The energy within the crystal is capable of altering one's body, its range is limited. However, the killing aura willpower is different. It's a willpower that is able to spread to any part of the entire body. When you wanted to let its left claw absorb the crystal, that willpower would directly connect throughout its body and attack you. Black-clothed Luo Feng nodded. He understood the theory. Every absorption had an increase in the killing aura willpower. Even if used at different parts of the body, the willpower would still increase. Luckily, all the Blood River crystals I had before, I decided to place all of them in the right claw. Luo Feng thought. The golden horned beast's right claw was now his trump card, since it was extremely terrifying. If he had dispersed the crystals all over the body from the start, then every body part would have been altered about 7 or 8 times. However, that way, the amount of power raised was limited. It was better to simply make one very terrifying right claw. I cannot be too greedy, as this has already been such a windfall for me. Since I am still constantly training my willpower, I believe there will be a day I can absorb the 100th crystal. I have a feeling that once I absorb that 100th crystal, the incomparably complex blood red engraving will be perfected by then. It should have some special properties as well by then. Luo Feng thought. Continue. 3 great bodies, and all of them are training in their own ways. Luo Feng quickly recollected his thoughts. There were 2 missions for this Blood River world. The first was to acquire 1 Blood River crystal, and completing that would give him a reward of 10k points. The second was to become a Blood Warrior and acquire the Blood River medal. The reward for this was 100k points. Even though this was the case, acquiring large amounts of crystals wouldn't get more points. However, these crystals were unique only to Blood River world, as it was a special product of this Blood River world. And even though there were plenty of it in this world, almost all the domain lords had most of them. Some universe-level elites had a few of them too, however, they were still extremely valuable. Since I will get as many as possible. These Blood River crystals should be worth a lot. Moshe Luo Feng continued on his hunting trip. Of course, he spent most of his time rushing around to find these crystals, and the true hunting time itself was very short. Hence, other than hunting, the Moshe Luo Feng would be in the automaton ship in the internal world, studying and training in the floating blood manual, time-space scribbles, and studying the 9 universe tablet, the drizzle picture. The golden horned beast was training tearing sky and land with the 3 ancient pictures. Its right claw's power was shocking, since it connected directly to the universe origin laws, causing its power to amplify about 9 times. This meant that, when using the right claw versus not using it, the golden horned beast's strength had a difference of almost 10 times. Its body alone was already incomparably intrepid and powerful, but 10 times the strength on top of that. This was, however, a miracle after all. Absorbing 92 crystals was an extremely absurd thing to do. The power of the right claw was shocking, hence it was training with the 3 ancient pictures. Luo Feng emphasized on the 3 pictures. The first was the beast's flight, waving its tail and dispersing the huge hand in the sky. The second was it lowering its head and looking ahead, piercing forward while flying. The third was it waving its claws, attacking brutally. The golden horned beast's right claw was originally very strong. After combined with this attack, and it studying tearing sky and land, 80% of its attention was spent to study the first claw of tearing sky. Luo Feng had long prepared to use this first claw technique as his true killing technique. Since the right claw was extremely strong, naturally he had to focus on claw attacks. Strong combinations, that meant more power. The first claw of tearing sky, the golden horned beast began its tedious and mad training. It was studying the techniques left behind by its ancestors, and searching for the grace of that ancient beast's claw technique, while constantly increasing the strength of tearing sky's first claw. The earth body would frequent the undying lessons, occasionally studying gold and space combination, simultaneously spending long periods of time in the killing aura to alter his body. Of course, all 3 bodies were in training. The golden horned beast would occasionally try to absorb the Blood River crystal, so that it could feel the rush of the killing aura willpower and withstanding it to train itself further. The Moshe was training via slaughter. The earth body was training his mind and heart from teachings of his 2 brothers Hong and Thunder God, while occasionally meeting them in the virtual universe and chatting. With the both of them reaching the pinnacle of Chinese martial arts and Indian yoga, Luo Feng would get some inspiration occasionally. Studying the origin laws, wonders, training his mind and heart. In the long passages of time, Luo Feng constantly improved himself. In a flash, 30 years had gone by. In the vast Blood River continent, in a particular territory city leader's mansion, it was daytime. You actually dare attack me, you must be looking to die. A fierce roar like the rage of a god resounded throughout the skies of the city. A black silhouette rushed into the skies straight into the cloud levels. It was the black-clothed Luo Feng. Damn, there actually was a sector lord here. Black-clothed Luo Feng's speed was shocking. You dare to attack me and wish to flee. The voice rumbled straight into his ears. Simultaneously a formless world energy pressure immediately poured over. A white pyramid appeared before Luo Feng, and he flew straight in. The golden-robed middle-aged man chasing behind saw the silver-white pyramid, staring wide-eyed. It's the outsiders. He quickly chased and simultaneously used his world energy to pressure the automaton ship. However, the ship's speed was simply too fast. It rushed straight through the 18 cloud levels. The golden-robed middle-aged man stood at the 18th level and looked up through the clouds, not daring to follow. It's actually an outsider. The man's face was perplexed. I have to inform the Undying Shrine, another outsider has descended into our Blood River continent. The automaton ship was in space. Control room. That was too risky. Black-clothed Luo Feng sat in the sofa and let out a sigh of relief. I didn't expect a sector lord to be hiding in the city. Since he didn't release his energy at all and I had no way to detect him, however his movement and use of the universe space made me feel his presence. Lucky I fled quickly. The Moshe clansman could unleash over 10,000 images, making his instantaneous speed terrifying. This was even faster than many sector lords. Fast, but this speed was mostly used just at the start for a quick burst. The moment a sector lord's speed truly took off, he would quickly catch up. Hence he used that outburst to create some distance, and after which enter the automaton ship to escape. Walking along the river for so long, how can one's shoes not get wet? Luo Feng softly muttered. After this incident, that sector lord would definitely inform the Undying Shrine. The shrine would probably begin to discover small patterns and traces, maybe even my entire plan. Anyway, I've acquired enough over these 30 years, it's time to stop. During these 30 years, Moshe Luo Feng's hunt had given him a total of 9,816 Blood River crystals. Luo Feng felt. It was savage enough, it was time to stop. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island, close to the river by 9-Star Bay, 3 people sat there. A tall and sturdy youth with short hair was dressed in casual clothing, yet his energy felt like a pike ready to pierce forward at any time. On his left was a clean white-robed bald youth who was smiling. His smile was so pure, it made one's soul get drawn in. Beside these two sat a skinnier youth. His killing aura was heavy, his entire being seemed to have been drenched in a bloody river of cold massacre. That aura was terrifying. 30, your mental state is really hitting the limit. The bald youth shook his head and smiled. Second brother, in terms of mental state, I cannot compare to you. I cannot break through for now. The only thing I can do is push my limits, that way at least I'll improve. Luo Feng smiled. He could feel it himself. In reality, as he was spending long periods of time in the ancient god ruins of Blood River World, he was influenced for tens of years by the killing aura. He was originally ice-cold within his bones. But now with the invasion of the killing aura, and with the golden horned beast absorbing so many Blood River crystals, even within the virtual universe Luo Feng emitted a powerful killing aura. Pushing your limits is after all still a small path. Thunder God shook his head. Second brother. Hong sat and smiled, you don't have to force third brother. In terms of mental state training, he's also exceptional. To be able to train his mental state to such a level, where he is not affected by dust or poison is great. Absolute purity, absolute rejection, and absolute coagulation, this form of absoluteness, is also a growth in mental state. Thunder God was shocked, nodding, he asked curiously, big brother, but this is still after all. Hong looked at Luo Feng, third brother. Big brother. Luo Feng smiled at Hong. Your second brother, and I have been giving you many pointers on mental training. However, this is different from other training. It's a form of release in spirit. Hong looked at Luo Feng. Many mysteries before may have been explained, today I'll depict it for you from the highest levels. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Heart. What is heart? Mental state, just what is that? Hong smiled. From a warrior's training point of view, the heart is actually willpower. Your willpower strength is already exceptional. Hong said. However, overall, from an overall look, you are still only on the first level of the 3 great mental states. First level. Luo Feng was shocked. 3 great mental states. This is my summary. Hong smiled. In our Chinese ancient culture, we've always emphasized on the training of one's mental state. There are all sorts of tests for the heart. By training in them, these will all be directed at one's heart, and will be able to see one's heart clearly. The body is the wisdom tree. Your heart is the stand of the bright mirror. You must frequently wipe it. Don't let it become dusty. It actually refers to looking at oneself and understanding. Luo Feng frowned. Right now, your heart is like a mirror, not affected by dust. Your heart is like a blade, slicing through obstacles. It's already considered having seen yourself and understood it, reaching a very high level. Hong exclaimed. Now, you continue to train your heart, making your willpower stronger. However, no matter how much you train, you are still only on the first level. What's the second level? Luo Feng asked. Simply put, man and nature as one. Hong pointed at Thunder God beside. Your second brother is considered to be at the second level. What's man and nature as one? Luo Feng asked. Man and nature as one refers to the perfect mental state. Hong smiled. What do I mean by perfect? When one's yin and yang are fully melded and are complementing each other. As for how? Your current path, chasing limits, that's simply pushing it. Simply pushing your limits may strengthen yourself. However, only when the yin and yang are working together will it be perfect. Just like a man in this world, when he feels harmony, he'll be sturdy and flexible depending on whichever the situation requires. This mental state is as such too. When it's time to be like a blade, or when it's time to train. And when it's time to be gentle like water, the water always flows around the blade. In terms of defense, the water is even more solid than a shield, hence it's more powerful. Hong smiled. The harmony of yin and yang, man and nature, mental state harmony. Of course this is a very high level of perfection, and is that of a pure and innocent heart. In theory it's already the pinnacle. Your brother is as such. Luo Feng held his breath as he listened, asking, heart like a blade, I understand. But how do I make my heart like water? I'll explain the theory, but the state itself is hard to explain. Hong smiled and shook his head. That, 1st level refers to one's heart and understanding it, and to be able to see through the rubble. The second is the harmony of yin and yang, man and nature, heart of pureness, perfect mental state. Luo Feng asked, in theory the second state is the pinnacle already, then what about the third? Thunder God beside him smiled. The third level, your big brother has begun to barely perceive it. The third, Hong said softly, is what I've just begun to touch. Heart is void and vast, heart is endless. Heart, encompassing everything. What do you mean? Luo Feng asked. It's hard to explain. Hong smiled. How about this? If the second is the harmony of yin and yang, man and nature as one, melding perfectly with everything around. Then the three road, is the heart being endless and vast, encompassing everything, including the endless universe, everything. Anything with a will can be encompassed, whether it's slaughter, material wealth and goals, appreciation of beauty, lust for power, everything. Luo Feng was shocked. Everything could be encompassed. If one can achieve this state, even facing against an incredibly powerful opponent, life form, all willpower, cannot affect me. Hong smiled. Damn, that's sick. Luo Feng stared. Sick, right? The white baldy thunder god smiled. Man and nature as one, heart of pureness. Whether it's yoga or Chinese ancient culture, these are all the pinnacle. However, your brother's level, in ancient Chinese culture, it has been mentioned before but never reached. Hence, no one really knows. Luo Feng looked at Hong, filled with even more admiration. 3 great mental states. First level, seeing through and understanding yourself. In many Buddhist teachings and paths, this was already progress. The second level, man and nature as one, heart of pureness. This was in theory the pinnacle. Third level, heart vast and endless, encompassing everything. This was unbelievable. Big brother, how do you reach this third level? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. The second state, I can barely touch it, however I can't fully comprehend it. Mental state training all relied on the heart. Luo Feng's understanding of his self had reached a limit. Indeed, he only had a small understanding of the harmony between yin and yang. It's hard to explain, I've only managed to get some ideas from looking at some books. Hong smiled. There's a saying, emptiness is the strongest. Another one also says that only when one doesn't contest will he be able to contest everything. Actually, I've studied many theories from the ancient Chinese culture. These 2 sayings are considered to have sparked my reaching of this level. Emptiness is the strongest. Only when one doesn't contest will he be able to contest everything. Luo Feng frowned. The logic is simple and I understand it. But what you mean is, the Chinese culture is bright, with countless exceptional people in history being able to reach man and nature as one, with hearts of pureness. These are all ancient history. Reach the second level first. Hong smiled. Let me see. These should be helpful for you. Read these few Chinese culture books, it may help. Luo Feng nodded. Suddenly he felt something stir within. Mosha clansman is here. The Mosha clansman sat in the automaton ship. It had been flying close to light speed in the space above Blood River World for a few months already, and finally arrived. Blood River cloud levels. A faint silhouette immediately passed through 1,000 kilometers, and landed beside the huge pit quarters. With a flash it went in. Huge pit quarters. Luo Feng, who was dressed in the bronze armor, got up on his hind legs. Looking at the entrance of the cave, a black silhouette appeared. It was Mosha Luo Feng. 10 Blood River crystals. Mosha Luo Feng casually placed the 10 crystals and left again, passing through the 18 cloud levels, and into the automaton ship which was floating in the space above. For safety reasons, he let the Mosha body take the internal core into space. At least it was very safe. Within the huge pit quarters. I finally have Blood River crystals. Luo Feng collected the 10 crystals and revealed a helpless smile. The last time, I let the golden horned beast absorb everything until there was none left for my earth body. 30 years. A total of 30 years had passed, during which he was constantly absorbing the killing aura and changing his body, yet he hadn't tried absorbing the crystals. Let's try and see if I can absorb the third one. Luo Feng took out a crystal. It had been long since he absorbed the 2ND. 30 years later, now he was trying the third. He cut his palm and placed the crystal on the wood. The killing aura willpower clashed against his willpower. Compared to the golden horned beast's absorption, this little willpower is simply pathetic. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim, following which he felt intense pain. His body began to evolve. However, compared to the successful absorption of the 91st and 92nd crystals, this third one couldn't be considered anything. The blood energy continued to pour through his body. The Blood River crystal became more and more transparent. The sound of bones breaking occurred from his chest. I actually failed. Luo Feng looked at the close to transparent Blood River crystal. Large amounts of blood energy was returning back, making it revert to its original state. He was helpless. Indeed, the more I absorb the harder it gets. I only stayed in the ancient god ruins for 2 years before and I managed to absorb the second. However, now after 30 years, I am still unable to absorb the third. Luo Feng shook his head. The golden horned beast's body looks like the body structure and composition is indeed much more perfect than a human body, at least in certain aspects. It's much superior. Even though he failed, Luo Feng wasn't troubled at all. In fact, he was anticipating, from the looks of it, there's still hope for me to absorb the third crystal. I have to become a blood warrior, acquire the Blood River medal and return to receive my 100k points reward. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.